Hi everyone, I'm Randy Arrington and welcome to another episode 119 of Page Valley Living. We're here now in downtown Luray, just off of East Main Street with artist G.M. Grant. We're going to talk a little bit about some of his work, how he got to Luray all the way from Florida.
That's right.
We're going to talk a little bit about his new shop down on the corner called Art by G.M. Grant at Arts and Artisans Fine Art Gallery, and he just took over and opened that up in mid-April. We're going to talk a little bit about the shop, show you around there, but first we're going to start off here in our first segment talking about this wonderful mural that he did back during the summer of 2025 called Dreams of Luray. It's artist G.M. Grant, featured on episode 119 of Page Valley Living. We'll be back after a word from our sponsor. At Luray Caverns, the Smithsonian Institution said, quote, "It is safe to say there is probably no other cave in the world more completely and profusely decorated than that of Luray. Come see Mother Nature showing off, only at Luray Caverns. Visit them online at luraycaverns.com to plan your trip today." Hi everybody, and welcome back to episode 119 of Page Valley Living. As I said, we're here in downtown Luray, just off of East Main Street, here in front of a new mural called Dreams of Luray. And we're with the man who created that, G.M. Grant. Gary, thank you so much for talking with us.
Good to be here.
Well, first of all, we're going to, in a little bit later in the show, we're going to take a trip down to your new art gallery, and we're going to look at, I think Lucia King is the artist that's on display now. We're going to look at some of her work as well as some of Wes Porter's maybe old works that are in there.
Yep.
And we're going to talk about that in a few moments. But right now, I want to focus on this 1,000 square feet of paint here. Tell me how this came about and how you got wrangled into doing this.
Yes, Susan Corbett, the owner of the building, approached me about the idea of doing this, and I just in discussion with her decided it sounded like a fun thing to take on. And I was really excited about the idea of creating something that was just beautiful for Luray, that would help people that were from here see their town the way that I saw it as an outsider, because I think it's just a fantastic place. And I think sometimes when you're from an area, you stop seeing it for what it is. You see your day-to-day life, and I just think it's a wonderful area. I think the people are fantastic, and I wanted this mural to just kind of be an explosion of appreciation of being thankful for where we live.
Well, there is a lot going on in this mural. I had written down some notes here that you painted this. You started on June 6th of 2025, and you completed it on July 10th, putting in sometimes 18-hour days.
I'm afraid
and
that's
I believe
true,
collectively...
I'm having flashbacks just saying that. Yeah.
Oh, and I was going to ask you, it was collectively, it was over 360 hours, but how do you do an 18-hour day out here in the heat in the middle of summer against a brick wall?
You give yourself no choice. I mean, that's the way to handle it, is you just absolutely say to yourself, I'm going to have this done within a certain period of time, and you block it out that way. And I think it helps having been in the heat dome, because after a while you're just delirious.
Right.
And so, what's another hour?
Right. All right, we're going to do something now that you're normally not supposed to do. We're going to turn our backs to the camera, because when you and Susan first started talking, she said she wanted everything that was representative of the area.
That's correct.
So let's start breaking down some of the images. You can start in the upper left if you want to and kind of work your way left to right, but let's talk about some of the images that are in this mural and what was portrayed by them.
Yeah, so I'll give you a little backdrop of this. So when Susan and I met, she did say she wanted everything. What I gave her was my counsel that I've always given clients as a creative, a lifelong director, writer, producer, which is everything is nothing. So if you give everything, it's very hard to absorb single things,
right.
And so people stop looking.
Right.
To which she said, no, I want everything. Challenge accepted. Okay. So I like Susan, and she's when she wants something, you're going to deliver it to her. You're not going to work with it.
Right.
So I decided, no, let's do this. So the impetus for this came with the idea, like, how would I present not everything but the feel of everything?
Okay.
So the feel of something comes best in a dreamscape. You know, you can't explain a dream afterwards, and if you try, you just bore people. You know, it's like, well, then this happened, then that happened, and you know, horses came out. But when you see it and you feel it, so I wanted something, two things. One, when you drove down this street here, I wanted something as you're driving down the street, you would do a double take at her.
Right.
You can't escape her. It's a giant sleeping person's head.
Does she have a name?
You know, it's funny. I was asked that before, and I chose personally not to give her a name because she represents everybody.
Okay.
Whether people choose to name her or not for themselves, and you know, whatever. And I've had some names suggested to me.
Okay.
But yeah, but for me, she's just kind of emblematic of every person, especially everybody's inner child. Of when you come to an area, you do dream of like, oh, what's this going to be like?
Right.
What are the possibilities? And that's what I wanted. So it really, everything flows out of her, and you can see that the sheets just flow, connect into what becomes the mountainscape.
Oh, right. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So we transform from that very gently. Now we're kind of into this rural landscape, because isn't that the first thing that hits you? If you're visiting from, say, New Jersey, I know this because at the gallery I've had people lately visiting from New Jersey, so you might not be used to this. So this will be the first thing that hits you. Now when you came here, probably it was on your mind as a tourist, you're going to go to see the caverns.
Right.
Right, so we flow up, and we had the suggestion of caverns plus the night sky, but that in turn now flows into the idea of what else do we have here? The river and kayaking opportunities and hiking and just all the things that go with that. And of course, when you're designing a piece like this, what you're really concerned about isn't content, it's form and color. So what you really want to do is have something that is visually arresting, but you may not process it all at once. Okay. And I know that this works because I've had several people tell me, oh, I saw this originally, I loved it, but I didn't notice this, and this the first time. Okay. And I've come back since, and we saw that, you know, some people did notice the girl fishing, for instance, or, you know, the deer up, whatever it is that they missed the first time, there's more to process. And I think,
how about these musical notes up here?
Oh, that is Shenandoah.
And that was the thing that impressed me, is that they're the actual notes.
Thank you for pointing that out, because that was a killer. That was like, I had to sit down first, find a musical, you know, sheet rendition of O Shenandoah that I could actually find was valid, and I don't read music. Right. So I had to validate that with people that did. Is this a reasonable, you know, facsimile of O Shenandoah? So, and then it's
coming out of the singing tower. Of course.
Coming out of the singing tower.
Tower. We got the girl fishing here. Look out! There's a black bear up there.
That's right. I was particularly fond of the black bears with the little cub.
And hiking. Obviously, we're not far from the Appalachian Trail in Shenandoah National Park, which is wonderful, and a white-tailed deer.
And then we kind of got the king deer up there.
That's a prize buck right there.
And just a little bit of a heavenly landscape at the very end of it, just to seal the deal.
Well, you definitely captured the agriculture in nature, the outdoor allure that brings so many tourists here. And I tell you, I have heard nothing but good compliments about this mural right here in downtown Luray, just off East Main Street. In fact, right across the street from Town Hall on East Main Street, called The Dreams of Luray by G.M. Grant. Come down and enjoy one of many, many murals in downtown Luray. We're going to go around the corner when we come back from the break and walk down to the new Art by G.M. Grant at the Arts and Artisans Fine Art Gallery. We're going to do that when we come back in just a moment. At Luray Caverns, you can hear music of symphonic quality from ancient stone formations on the great stalacpipe organ, the largest musical instrument in the world, only at Luray Caverns. Visit them online at luraycaverns.com to plan your trip today. So, Gary, a nice wind today, nice breeze, feeling nice. We have those 90
best time of year right now.
Oh, it feels wonderful, the temperatures here today.
How y'all doing?
I wanted to, we got folks shopping here on Main Street, eating at Gathering Grounds. And now you've got a shop down here.
Yep.
Art by G.M. Grant, as part of the Arts and Artisans Fine Art Gallery. And you went in with, is Wes Porter still owns the property, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, Wes still owns the building, Wes and Little. And I want to go into the story without taking up too much of your time.
Okay.
But I volunteer over at Performing Arts Center.
Oh, okay.
So PAL.
Well, we'll circle back to that in just a moment.
Well, it's related.
I was going to ask you about how you got from Florida all the way here to Luray, Virginia.
Okay.
As an artist.
Okay, so that's a long story too.
Okay.
I don't have any short stories. No, but I've lived everywhere.
Okay.
Okay, so most recently we came by way of actually Dallas. So
okay.
yeah, we lived in Dallas for a few years.
And you were a journalist for a while there in Florida.
I was a journalist in Florida. I was a journalist up in Portland, Maine, Rochester, New York, and but that was a whole different life. For many years, I ran a group that created content for firefighters and law enforcement, first responders.
Okay.
And so during 9/11, and then after that, we were particularly busy creating what I think at the time was the world's or the nation's first Homeland Security curriculum.
Oh, wow.
So totally different life.
So you went from there to art, and now, I mean, you're basically a full-time artist, right?
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. Yeah. I joke I gave up my well-paying job or relatively well-paying job for one that pays horribly and has a terrible boss. Yeah.
Well, let's go in and meet the boss here
boy,
and see
okay.
what we got going
Sounds
here
good.
at
I'll get the door
4
for you.
East Main Street. All right, come in and join us.
All right. I should.
And here we are inside Art by GM Grant. It's the Arts and Artisans Fine Art Gallery here at 4 East Main Street in downtown Luray. And as we were talking about with Mr. GM Grant, or Gary Grant, we were talking about Wes Porter as we were coming down the street there. Wes still owns the building, which he's had since the early 2000s. Yep. And this is some of his work right here. He's got a pretty fancy brush.
Yeah. Wes is a beautiful classical landscape figurative painter. So his work just, I think, does a brilliant job of capturing the essence of a scene, the mood, the light, kind of a feel that I think that's when paintings, figurative paintings, realist paintings click the most. Is they're not so hyper literal that they still don't have a genuine feeling that connects with people. And I see it here all the time when people come in, they stop in front of certain paintings, and go, oh, and it reminds them of something, or they just connect with what they see.
Funny you say that, because this piece right here, I feel like I'm on a canoe going down the South.
Oh yeah, I feel I've been there too. Yeah, I've been there.
I think
wherever that is, I've been there.
Section,
yeah,
you know, somewhere near Newport maybe or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the bald eagle to come fly.
Oh, you know
down.
it. Yeah. With a fish. Yeah.
Well, these against this wall, we're going to walk this way. Or like you said, Wes Porter is some of his work. Great artist. But I want to come and have you switch places with me and highlight, this place also has unique gifts. It has handcrafted jewelry. Yeah. Tell me about what you have in the corner here.
Well, I know in a minute we'll be talking about the idea of, this gallery is supposed to be kind of a total experience of presenting local artists, regional artists who do quality work or have something great to share. In the case of jewelry, Barbara Paul was a local kindergarten teacher. And she developed a passion for creating jewelry, and this is pure sterling silver that she works with, and it's just beautiful stuff. And I don't know a lot about jewelry, truth be told, but I know when I'm looking at something, I appreciate the craft that goes into it, and that is definitely her work.
These earrings look beautiful, beautiful. And as you said in your press release, when you guys cut the ribbon on this shop to kind of take it over in a lease form on April 15th, of this year, you said you wanted to create a vibrant new direction that celebrates contemporary regional art and fresh creative voices and the stories of the Shenandoah Valley. So I guess this is one example that you do want to feature local people.
Yeah, in this case, homegrown, and some of her work definitely has that feel, that vibe. But yeah, all throughout the gallery and throughout the year. So, I show here my own stuff, and that was one of my goals in having a gallery. Wouldn't it be great to have a space to actually be able to show and sometimes sell, a piece of work? That's great. However, it doesn't stop there. What I really wanted was a place where, we are smack downtown.
Right.
And what I was sharing earlier is, working at PAL, volunteering, I saw people coming in this building, going to the door and it was closed.
Wow.
And it's like, well, we can't have that. That's, we got to have this place open. And so that was another motivator. And along with that, well, what if we were able to, with this central location, really showcase artists every now and then all to themselves? And I don't want to neglect to say the art space out on 211, Jim May's space, does a fantastic job of that as well. But he's out there, we're here, and we collaborate. I think the world of what he's doing out there. They do a fantastic mission, and we complement that. So
that's going to be one of our future shows out there at the art facility and art gallery out on 211. I need to get together with Jim. Jim, give me a call. But as we walk around, let's kind of slowly make our way back over on this side, because currently you are featuring a local artist from right here, I believe in Luray, Virginia. You're featuring works by Lucia King. I love this one right here.
This is a collection of mandalas. And you know, there's a discipline to creating a mandala. It's a circular design, and each one is kind of a meditation in its own right. And so each one either is tackling social themes, some cases environmental, spiritual, or just deeply personal narratives. But what impressed me when I first saw this at Lucia's studio was the totality of it. If you take the time, and I strongly encourage people, if you're going to visit here, please take the time to start from the beginning and really just see the show through. It's about 30 pieces, and it's just the stories all interwoven together. You get a sense of a very complete existence, and not just one person's existence. You'll see parts of your own life mirrored in here. It's like, oh, I had thought about that for a while.
I noticed that each and every one has the eye here in the center. It looks like it should be on a dollar bill.
Yeah, they all know an eye. Yeah, we're all seeing. Yeah,
is that's something unique to her series, I guess. Here, right?
And I wouldn't want to speak for Lucia in terms of you know, interpreting all of this. But I do think that it comes from the idea of inner insight, and that idea of looking at the world that you live in, and as honestly and as openly as you can, and knowing what you see outwardly affects you inwardly. And Lucia, I so apologize if I'm getting this just going out there on a limb, but that's how I feel about it.
Well, let's take a step back, and we're going to let the camera follow us along these works of art as we go down towards the door. And let people know, you talked about some tourists. There's actually some tourists outside right now that might come in and join our interview, but you talked about them coming and not having the place open. So we want to emphasize that this gallery is open Thursday through Sunday from
10 to 5. 10 to 5.
10 to 5.
Every day.
10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Thursday through
And it was
Sunday.
very important for us to be open at regular hours that people could count on, you know. I don't know about you, but I can't stand going to space and I thought it was open, then they're not, they're closed today. So we try not to do that. We're only human, so I'm sure there'll become a day where those words will bite me in the rump. But yeah, we try to do the best we can. Yeah.
How often do you change out exhibits or bring in new artists?
That's a good question. There's no exact formula to it. I think it really comes down to, what I don't want to do is just kind of gratuitously always just bring in a new flow of artists without feeling great about those artists. So we have an application process, and if somebody's interested in being on exhibit at the gallery, it is a juried process. So we do evaluate the work. And it's funny, I had a gentleman come in here the other day, and his work was just technically perfect. It was a graphite pencil drawings. Oh my gosh, they were so good. But they were, I felt, and this is just personally, that there wasn't a personal narrative there. It was just, you know, it was really great renderings of what he saw, but we're looking for the stories. To your observation, we're looking for something that we can share that really is something that is true to this area, true to this region, or true to the artists themselves, such as this work, where you really capture the essence of what a person is trying to communicate and share, because I think that's what art's all about.
Wow. Well, one interesting question. So artists can lobby you to exhibit their work here, and you all probably also go out and have found artists that you may want.
Oh yes, definitely, So I have one artist in mind for October, and I'm not going to name his name because I don't want to speak out of turn. We're pretty much in agreement that he's going to do a show in October. But again, I just don't. I've been talking about this ahead of time.
From the Valley?
No, from Page County.
Page County. Okay,
and I'm really excited about having his show here. And it's funny because when we were just getting ready to open, I wasn't open yet. He'd walked in the door and like was interested in what we were doing. And I didn't put the name together with his art at the time when I talked to him. I had like a vague understanding. And then it was only after I really looked at his stuff, oh, it's that guy. I gotta have that guy in the gallery because he's so good, and I'm such a fan of what he does. So I'm really looking forward to that. So ultimate teaser, I'm not naming the name, but trust me, people, he's gonna be great.
All right, keep us on the edge of our
There you
seats.
go.
Well, I tell you, I think to get this space open again, I remember for years of being an art gallery, and Wes having it for so long. I am so thankful that you have come in here and brought this place back to life. Thank you.
Thank you for what you do. Thanks for helping us get the word out about, we want to share the art.
Well, we want to let people out there know how they can get in contact with you if they may have an exhibit, a question. Maybe they're only going to be in town for a certain day and they want to come in and have a special viewing because they're interested maybe in some of the pieces that we saw today. But we're going to let them know that they can reach you at a website, GM Grant Art, gmgrantart.com. Or you can email gmgrantart@gmail.com. It's a lot of G's.
There's a lot of G's there, yeah. Story of my life, yeah.
So that's how you can reach them. If you have something special that you either want to exhibit or talk to them about, that's how you reach them. As I said, again, I think this is great to get the space back open. And I want to end with this question. You were a journalist, so you looked at the world in a certain way, and now you maybe look at the world as a certain way as an artist. But what is the feeling to be an artist and have your own gallery?
The feeling is profoundly grateful to be in a position to be able to do it. Profoundly grateful to not be a journalist anymore. It's a hard life. It's a hard life.
When we cut, I'll tell you how I feel about that when we cut.
Okay, fair. Yeah, it's got its challenges, and that was lifetimes ago for me because I did so many things career-wise after being a journalist. But it does put it in perspective because if you think about which I know you do, what does it take to be a journalist? Is you've got to be facts-based. It's essentially a very linear thing. One thing leads to another, and you better be able to attribute and make sure that you can go back to your sources, prove everything. If you're a good journalist. If you're an artist, you don't have to prove anything.
It sounds like a different world.
Yeah, it's purely open interpretation. And in fact, if you are too linear, you failed as an artist. So I have people ask me all the time, what does a certain painting mean? For instance, can we pivot around here real quick?
Sure, yeah.
So this was a painting that was done as a commission for a gentleman who just turned 30. The painting's called Landlocked. And in consulting with him about, what would you like in your painting, strangely he said out of nowhere, like a boat that's in the middle of a field.
Okay.
And he had a sailing background. So he was a competitive sailor, but he wanted a boat in the middle of the field. I think that I can so work with. And so people will ask me, what do these three figures represent? And I can argue that, they really represent the 3 decades of a person's life, any person's life. So it's not specific to, this individual. It's this idea we have stages, just like we were talking about earlier. I was a journalist, so that's a lifetime ago. I barely, even feel that now. So now, when you ask me what it's like to have my own galleries, it feels like I'm connecting with people. And what more counts than that? Is we're sharing stories and we're communicating with each other in a very different medium now.
This is an excellent piece, and I just want to make sure people, you were describing it, I just want to make sure they understand that this is your work here. When did you do this?
This was about, I'd say, 2 years ago.
Yeah,
so this is a 2-year-old piece, if that,
Wow. Yeah. And we look forward to seeing many more here. One thing you said, one of the benefits of having your own gallery and having this shop is that you've been able to get out of your home, which was maybe a little cramped, and you've done 7 original works?
Yes, so 7 originals plus remodeling the gallery. So it's been a busy year so far. What is it right now? It's June?
Yeah, it's June, and you just opened it.
Yeah, so it's been a busy time. Now, I don't have my pieces here right now, but I did want to, if it's okay, just promote.
Go ahead.
We've got a show coming up over at Muse Vineyards. Actually, it started now. So my work is not here right now. It's all over at this one-person show over at Muse Vineyards in Woodstock. And if you haven't been out there, even if you're not a wine connoisseur, it's just a beautiful place to hang out. It really, really is. I mean, you can just spend a lot of time there, and it's just gorgeous. But you know, I was very interested in having a show over there. You know, it's a different crowd, but it's a different venue. It's just you know, it's again another place to be able to share the art.
Absolutely. So, and tell them where that is again.
That's Muse Vineyard, and that's over in Woodstock.
Okay.
So just you go through the Edinburgh Gap if you're coming from Luray, and you know it's a really nice drive, honestly.
So that's where you can see Art by GM Grant. But if you want to visit Art by GM Grant, you come right here to 4 East Main Street, currently an exhibit by local artist Lucia King, and of course a few works here by Wes Porter. Once again, Gary, so thank you so much for the time today.
Really enjoyed it.
And thank you for reopening this space in downtown Luray and making it available to everyone. We hope that you have enjoyed episode 119 of Page Valley Living. We want to thank Eleanor Arrington for all of her work behind the camera and in the editing room this week. And if you like the episode, hit that like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Page Valley News. And as we end each and every episode, we want to remind you to go out to the Page County Animal Shelter and help one of our furry friends find a forever home. For GM Grant, I'm Randy Arrington, right here in the newest art gallery in Page County in downtown Luray, saying until next week, enjoy that Page Valley living.